All right, first I want to thank Sister Nzinga and the other beautiful sisters, sweet sisters class for actually putting works behind their word and actually jumping this thing off. This is, this is past due completed in this city. So I definitely thank y'all for giving me the opportunity to speak, as well as giving other people the opportunity to speak as well as hear and learn. I'm here actually representing in my capacity as a member of an organization that if you feel that our future is the youth, and that, you know, sometimes you can't teach an old dog new tricks, but that the future actually lies in some of the people that are just running around here, and some of them is unborn. We are actually working in regards with the rites of passage as well as many other functions within community organizing. So if you're interested in that regard, there. I'm also here in representation of a national organization that I'm a part of in regards to the RPG University. Any book you're looking for, many of them that I'll even talk about here today, have been made accessible on our online library, as well as many other things that we do. But you can also go to our Facebook page, go on and like it, you know what I'm saying, get your updates, and we hope to catch up with you.
And the Facebook RPG.
Yep, RPG University. Right. This is an actual hour-long presentation. I got 30 minutes, so I broke it in half. So I'm gonna be moving very quickly. If there's something that you did not catch, just let me know and I'll go back and try to get that information to you. All right. Now, first thing is, y'all hearing hood economics right off the bat. I know y'all thinking like, he gonna be up here talking about some hoodlums or some negativity going on in the community. All right, no. All right, let me be clear. All right, this presentation is not about promoting any negative thing that's going on in our community, but it is to basically look at an honest look at who we are as a people, historically and currently, how we've changed over the time, some of the things that we're actually doing, whether it's good or bad, and just taking that honest look and saying, how is this negating our economics, or how could this benefit, you know, in our economics in the long run and collectively. Now I'm not here to sugarcoat anything, so I'm just gonna be raw. I know the kids is in the building, so I'm not gonna go that raw. But I am gonna be very blunt about many things that are going on in our history. Now I'm not going to speak about the individualistic concepts of economic freedom and economic success. Even though I think that is necessary in regards to individuals' development, I think that one of the biggest things that we're missing as a group of people is that we've been taught the individualistic self-made man model, and nobody ever has followed that, and even more importantly, that nobody's ever been successful doing that. If you look at Wall Street, that's people that everybody's going in there and putting crowdfunding, you know what I'm saying, having a big old crap game, putting money in there. You don't know if you're gonna win or not, but people is putting capital towards these businesses. Okay, so nobody's making it alone. So when we go through this, I'm gonna challenge a lot of these concepts that maybe have been taught to us to our own detriment. Now, I'm not gonna tell you that cooperative economics and starting your own business and closing the unemployment gaps are the only solution to our collective, you know, problems. I'm not gonna just tell you that that's not my orientation. I think that is key. The economics is key. But there are many other aspects that have to be taken care of. Economics is one of them. And I'm not gonna champion a bunch of Negro first. I'm not here to talk about a bunch of celebrities that made it, like Oprah or Michael Jordan, these other individuals, because I know that they are less than 1% of the masses that don't even know what that's like. They don't know that type of life. You know what I'm saying? So it would be a dishonor to the people that you know I represent. Now, don't worry, I'm not here to totally blame everything on the white man. I'm not up here about to do that. But what I am going to call a spade is that regardless on who's doing what to us, we have a responsibility for the future of ourselves. Nobody else can do it for us. Nobody else should do it for us. Okay. Now, when we talk about hood, again, most likely off the dome, y'all like, oh, this is some negative stuff. Okay, what is hood short for?
Neighborhood.
Okay, how many of y'all ever heard that the reason why they took neighbor off is because you walk through the hood and everybody ain't that neighborly? Alright. Okay, I mean that's fair. That's fair. But essentially all neighbor really means is somebody that lives next door to you. You know what I'm saying? Geographically. Now we could talk about how we have moved away from being close to each other. You can't leave your door unlocked no more. You know? You can't trust nobody, you know, with your kids running down the street. You know, these different types of things that we may have lost in principle and character as neighbors. And so I would argue that in many ways, even that when we listen or when we hear the word hood, what are some other names for hood?
Cover. Cover.
Okay, cover. No, I'm not being that literal no more. I'm actually I mean, that was a good answer because I was just.
But I'm not being literal when I say covering.
Yeah.
Covering.
Oh yeah, right, like a shelter, right.
Yeah.
It's true.
Like language hood?
Yeah.
Okay.
Now I'm saying like, give me another ghetto. That's another name.
Oh, yeah.
That's another. Project.
Down the way.
Down the way. The slum, the favela, whatever. I mean, there's a bunch of these different terms. Okay. All right. Who know where ghetto came from? It's a Jewish term, right? Some people was occupied by police. I mean, Nazis. Okay. So I'm trying to set the tone right there. All right. I'm gonna leave that there, but I'm gonna come back to it. All right. Another thing, we're talking about economics. First, before we talk about economics, we got to talk about currency. Essentially, what that means is anything that can be traded or exchanged for goods or service or labor. Now, when you hear currency, and it comes from the Middle English word "current," which means circulation, you can think about the blood. That's a wealthy thing to have. If you ain't got your blood flowing, you dead. Right. Also, if you go into African spirituality, you're dealing with Oshun. This is actually somebody that deals with the stream, the river, correct? You know what I'm saying? When you're talking about a river current, correct? Okay, so she's also likened to a person that deals with material gain. You know what I'm saying? The finer things and like the sweetness of life. Okay, so you know, the tree don't fall too far. I mean, the apple don't fall too far from the tree. You know, and so in dealing with economics. Again, I said I'm going to be raw, and I said I'm going to show y'all things that may shock you, and it's for a reason. So bear with me, but all this is the controlling the flow of the distribution of currency and the providing of goods and services. It's the control. Being able to control, like when you put a dam up, that's being able to control the water and use it to actually propel electricity, which is something we'll talk about soon. This brother right here, his book is right here. My book, you know, you can tell somebody reading a book is falling apart. Alright, so this is right here, I've declared myself as my black man's Bible, right? Because he go over everything. This is one of our greats that we lost, but he's still living here through his works. But he does break down the economic system. He says, first and foremost, it is a social system. It's a system defined by a dynamic yet organized stereotypical set of social conditions, relations, attitudes, expectations, values, and institutions which characterize the behavior of the members of a specific community relative to each other, to non-members, and to other communities. Thus, any attempt to change the economic savings income ratio of a people requires a commensurate change and changes in the social attitudes and relations, and to some degree changes in the society and culture. So in a long-winded way, what he's saying is that economics is essentially based on relationships. Without a relationship, you ain't got nothing. If I can't trust that if you take my money, you're not going to give me this back, then we don't have good economic circumstances. It's also based on, which we'll talk about, the value systems that we have. Okay? All right, now we're going to go, because I've been requested that this is a mini workshop. So, when I hear workshop, I'm like, okay, what's this? Huh? She says a dollar bill.
I didn't see it.
Okay, who wants this? You got to raise your hand. Remember I said I got to work out. Who wants this?
Right here.
Okay. He's a smart guy. He don't want it. I don't know what he balling out of control. Okay. Alright, so that's alright. Who wants this? Okay. True!
You got some hands for the time? You got some tape?
Alright. You ain't getting it. I'm sorry to play with y'all's emotions. But the reason why I did that, okay? Because I almost thought I was about to lose my $100. That money, okay? How much is it worth?
0.02 cents.
Talking about that DI.
The paper or
I'm asking. This ain't a trick question.
It ain't worth
How much is it worth?
So it's worth the value that you still in it.
Right.
Okay.
Depends on
How you use it.
It depends on you.
Man, how much is this worth, man? If you take us up out of here,
monetarily or
I'm asking. This is not a trick
It's worth
question.
$100.
How much? It's $100. She said it's $100.
it's what we think it's
All right. That's fair. There was no wrong answer. All right. Okay. All right. Now, I got another question for you. Can you preserve life with it?
Nope.
Yes.
Yes, you can if you put the money in for someone with a
Yeah,
ventilator.
you
Yeah,
have to
you can do it.
Okay.
Some food.
All right. Another question. If I drop this by accident, just like now, like I accidentally kicked it and I couldn't find it, would you give it back to me or would you rob it?
I'll give it back to you.
Raise your hand if you would just keep it.
If I
I mean, come on.
If it's out on the street,
Out on the
I'll
street.
Right.
You on the street, okay. You wouldn't go running around like, hey, did you lose $100?
But then here we know it's yours. You got it out here.
Alright, is any amount, including this, more, is any amount worth taking somebody's life? $1,000. What if they's a bad guy? What if they kill one of your friends? What if they, I mean, I guess there's nothing. So no amount, y'all some just goodies in here. That's supposed to be good economics. One-on-one. You said if you got 6, that's what I'm talking about. Thank you, sister.
Couple $100 million.
He said if they got it coming. Now, how many of y'all got y'all's tax returns?
I got one.
How many of y'all got y'all's tax returns? It's on the way. Okay. Some of y'all pay taxes, right? Alright, where them taxes go?
To the
Where did they
person,
go?
whoever issuing them.
Okay. Them taxes go to a government, correct? And whatever it is the government uses it for, we don't have no control over that, right?
Right.
Okay. Let's say you part of an organization, let's just call it the mob. And you want somebody, like Sister said, the guy had it coming to her. And she wanted to get rid of that guy. What usually happens? She put some money on his head, right? Okay. Now, what we have to be clear about is that we pay taxes possibly to somebody, whether directly, indirectly, wrong or right, accidentally, whatever. People are being killed behind the money that we use on a daily basis. We have to understand that we have a part in that. It doesn't mean that we're actually telling them to go do this. This is just a reality of the circulation of money. It's the same thing as the concept that I'm trying to get across to you about, okay, I sneezed in it, I stepped on it, I could have burped on it, you know what I mean? But you still want it because the value, because of the value system that we hold, okay? And so I'm opening that up to some other values that we got to deal with. Now, in dealing with self-acceptance versus self-hate, the first thing, and I know I'm gonna be running late for time. So the self-acceptance versus self-hate. Okay? The key thing that we gotta learn with doing it and challenging this is that if we don't know ourselves and know who we were historically, we're not really gonna know what our capabilities are to do. We're really gonna be basing that on somebody else that really don't come from us or have our genetics or anything. And we gotta really own who. It doesn't necessarily mean that you personally are that person, but if okay, I'll just be honest. I got big lips. I like watermelon. I do like chicken. I'm not vegan. I like loud music. There's a lot of things that have been quote unquote stereotyped and put in minstrelsy and these different things that naturally I should not be ashamed about because that's me. You don't see Chinese people being feel like disrespect because then somebody's like, whoa, and then, you know, and the Chinese food and they got cats, they serve it. They just like, man, whatever. Pay me, I'm about to do me. You know what I'm saying? Collectively. So we really need to deal with more self-acceptance instead of trying to run away from who we are. Essentially, if we start to really see who we are and study who we are, business-wise, there, and which I'll go into later, that there is an actual serious gain that can come from us really owning in on who we are and marketing that in a way that can benefit us collectively. Collectivism and individualism, and again, we're dealing with economics. People are not coming at this as individuals. This is a collective game, all right? And to be quite honest, it's an ethnic, tribal, and race game. They don't call it race for a reason, for no reason, okay? They're not going to tell you that because everybody makes money off of black people, including our dear brothers from the continent, immigrants, okay? We are the lifeblood of the planet. Everybody come over here and pimp us. Everybody. No exceptions, okay? So dealing with the nuclear family versus the extended family, clans, and ethnical, again, consciousness. We've been sold this.
I'm sorry to cut you off. We have to leave. How can I get this information?
Write down your. I'll get that contact and I'll be sending that to you.
Okay. Okay, great. We have to pick up a grandbaby.
But we've been sold a model that it's just about me and my family. We be like, forget grandmama, forget all. We are really moving away from who we were. At one point in time, it was the honorable thing for a man to do to extend his lineage. It was an honorable thing for, like, look, that sister right there look like she good for about 10, 12 babies. You know what I'm saying? Like that. I come from a big family. My wife even come from a big family. Most older people I know came from big old families. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't until the eugenics movement, Margaret Sanger, and these organizations that made it not as much as unpopular. They made it almost deadly to even considering having a bunch of children. They made this society to the point that it's a good choice to get this abortion. You know what? And during my day, it was wrap it up. And so I'm just saying, not to say that you shouldn't wrap it up. I'm just saying that there's a whole movement around really sweeping our feet from up under us in regards to not having the people to follow in our footsteps. And so this is not a game. And then you got this homosexual thing that's moving full force in our community. Now again, we talking individualism. You do you, but guess what? If all of the sisters is going one way and all the brothers is going one way, what's going to happen? Scandal? That's right. Okay, so service versus slavery. Essentially what that means is if we put in the work that we put in for all of these people that sit high on the hog right now, high on their horse right now, telling us that you this and that and you all that or whatever, and they just pay. Talking about you getting welfare. They lived off of welfare on us for over 500 years. Still are. If we put in the work for ourselves that we put in for other people, this could really turn around, man, in maybe a year or two. You know what I'm saying? It's not a game, but this is a value system. Because we got a lot of people saying like, man, you got me out here working like a what?
Slave.
And some of that time it be us working even within ourselves. So our value system is really jaded in that regard when it comes down to us actually doing work for ourselves. So in dealing with work for ourselves, we got to transition. If we didn't do it at the failure of the civil rights movement, we best for sure better be doing it at the site of this mockery that's up there in Capitol Hill. That ain't never did nothing. He ain't yet. He opened up, he came in and said that he was gonna let brothers out on this whole mandatory minimum thing with the drugs, right? He let, what, that four guys or something? Pardon, 4 guys? Bush pardoned more Negroes than this guy. So and that's not to excuse anything. What I'm saying is that this guy don't represent us. So at some point, when you had a lot of people that were quote unquote nationalists, they said, look, we need to vote for this guy and get him in and all of this. You know what I'm saying? We got, what is the name of my thing again? Hood Economix 101. We got hoodwinked. Alright? Okay, dust yourself off and let's keep it moving. But we got to move away from this simulationist model. Marcus Garvey, man, there's so many people that done said it, it's just like, duh. But I'm saying that Marcus Garvey said that if we keep on drinking of this quote-unquote modern society, chasing this whole modern lifestyle, it's gonna drink us sleep. We're gonna be dead. We're gonna die. When immigrants come here, they were forced to some degree drop their classification in regards to nationality, so they can be called what? White. Okay? So when we talking about race and somebody being racist, we need to be clear that, look, this is not just about skin color. This is about status.
It's all about status.
It's all about status. So when it comes along with that status is access to power. Okay? And so that spectrum, as far as I'm concerned, and from my study, it don't get no darker than black. Okay? So it's from black to white. Alright? So we got every right to demand a change in that. And then beyond demand, we as human beings, we reserve the right, just like many other people. When you talking about Canada, whether you talking about Mexico, we were not given a plebiscite. All it means, after slavery, we was not given the opportunity to say that whether or not we want to be Americans or not. They just said, get on over there. Okay, you 3/5. Okay, yeah, you can vote, maybe. Nah, but I mean, we never was, they just, because we was they dogs and horses and cats.
Chattel slavery.
Yeah, because of that, they just was just like, man, okay, we hear y'all, but y'all, go on. And so we the outcasts in that regard. I'm gonna pass this around. How many of y'all familiar with this? And they're dealing with that self-acceptance and being businessmen, being businesswomen. There's a serious market in regards to knowing yourself. This, to me, having all of this is rich. Wealthy. Match this up with any Fortune 500, the wealthiest cat you know that they flock all around TV. Maybe don't flock around. I don't care if you ain't, he's the Illuminati. I don't care. If he ain't got that, he ain't wealthy. We should be going for this collectively. If we can get all our stuff taken care of, we ain't got to worry about nobody. We got respect amongst each other. We got our kids raising up in a line to where we know they're going to be men. We know there ain't no confusion. That's a system. That's what so many other ethnic groups have that we do not have. And that's the real poverty that we got. Not this paper. All right. Okay. Malcolm says, of all our studies, history is best qualified to reward our research. And so what I will do is I will make this presentation, part of this presentation, available in regards to the history. Today, I'm not going to have the time to go through the history, but I want y'all to, and it kind of was talked about, but there is a seriousness in regards to, again, that self-knowledge. That people say, well, you was this big and bad African king and queen and all this stuff, so what happened? They all say that. And so that's a good question. What did happen? Now, what if I could tell you that systematically we're at this point that we're at right now? We literally like the roaches that you just can't get rid of. We done became so immune to every raid, every roach trap that you could possibly come up with. We still come up with ways to find and to build colonies. And there's still some exterminator coming to try to knock our stuff down. Okay? Systematically, we done got to this point, and we ain't going nowhere yet. We still here. Sister Mawusi, she did my work for me. She talked about so many other black towns that we had. Right here we got Little Africa, Bucktown.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah,
Down
here.
the riverfront. Where you think they?
In every black city, in every city all over this country, we established towns and nations. Y'all know Chicago, right? Chicago was established by a black man. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So, but, okay, what's going on with Chicago right now? Yeah, what's going on with Detroit? Alright, but it's not just that simple to just say like, okay, you know, the circumstantial evidence proves that y'all are inferior. No. We got hundreds of years of data of white aggression. We were the Cincinnati riot, okay. How about all the riots that they jumped off? And it was like, we ain't knock nobody up out their house and take their land. There's hundreds of years of this data that this is their MO. So, who is the real gangsters? Who's really hood? As far as I'm concerned, if you're talking about that negative. Again, then you talked about the 13th Amendment, okay? Now, as far as it freeing us, all right? What's that say? Accept. What's accept mean? Alright, I gotta keep it moving. We ain't free as far as they concerned, because as soon as they quote unquote freeze you, they established black laws that said that you gotta sign a 7-year contract, and if you decided to get sick or have a baby and you didn't wake up, you're going to the chain gang, homie. And guess what? That chain gang ain't stopped to the day. When we talk about all of these corporations, you working 20 years for IBM, get out, talking about I got seniority. No, that's not happening. Okay, let's keep it moving. Look, she said it then. If she could have freed way more if we had known that we were slaves. Now, if they didn't know they were slaves then, we damn sure don't know we slaves right now. With all these people driving cars and all this, nah, man.
Pacification.
We in trouble, man. We in trouble. There's a uniform. Walking the line, right?
Right.
And we sending them up in there freely. We don't know. It ain't connected. I ain't got time. But this just ain't come out of nowhere. How many of y'all seen Harlem Nights? When they was getting shook down. Mob was coming in there, the police was coming down. They didn't want them to have nothing. Okay? We were forced to form organizations in secrecy. You know what I'm saying? So this stop snitching thing is not no new thing. But we got to be honest with each other and understand that this is a criminal nation. It ain't never not been. And so there's a reaction to that when you're dealing with a criminal. You can't just come at a criminal all nice and illegal. No. So there was an understanding that this just got to really be dealt with. Redlining. All right? This is what I'm going to do. I'm going to keep it moving. But everybody talks about, okay, I'm hearing all about the problem. What about the solution? Well, if the solution was presented to you, my question is, what you going to do about it? I mentioned 2 different organizations. There's some other ones that you can have access to. But this presentation has historical solutions that we did that are acceptable today. We can even learn when we talk about. I know y'all hungry, and that's why y'all trying to get me to sit down. I know. Well, look, these guys right here got the recipe for success. How many of y'all like Mexican food? How many of y'all like Chinese food? Okay. Well, this is some food for thought that I got within the presentation, but I'm not gonna get to really break it down to you today. But I will be able to contact with you and get you this information. Just so y'all can get a couple of ideas and solutions I'm talking about. Because you probably think that, like, what can we learn from these guys? Okay. Well, let me skip our brothers from the continent. Let me deal with the Mexicans. Okay. People always joke about the Mexicans. Say they about 6 deep in the car. They live about 12 in a little bit 1-bed apartment. Right? Okay. All right. Now, while you and your little silly self, while it snowed all this time, you told your little child to go on out there and make you some money. Go on, shovel up this hard steel snow we about to have coming in a couple of days. Go on out there and do it all by yourself. And then what happened was, these amigos came together in that truck, 6 deep, and they said, look, okay, yeah, disregard him. Let's go around him. And then they knocked on the door and said, look, I'm going to do that. And then they knocked on about 15 more doors in the same neighborhood, and now they got a contract in the neighborhood to clean it all up. Now they might be, what they're doing is being competitive, because they didn't got a lower price than you, but they're doing 15 houses. That's something, and see that what they do is that, say, one of the amigos or whatever got a fine daughter, right? Okay, now one of the things that you can actually deal with in regards to trade, in regards to exchange, is contracts. When you got that type of clientele where you're able to work this type of thing, that's a beautiful thing. I'm gonna make sure my daughter's paid and got food and taken care of, because this is a contract that I know he can work. The Jews. How many times? Who knows what kosher is?
Is it, wow, I didn't know I was gonna get.
It's out there again.
It's the
Cleaning stuff, equipment and everything that processes the food has been prayed over by the rabbi and blessed. And the whole process is basically looked over, right?
Yes. Yes, that's true. But on the surface, yes. But deep down, they don't care nothing about that. It's essentially like what me and my wife did when we went to Ghana, making some of the connections that we made, is that we wanted to do Ghana RBG product. And it's a stamp that's on the product. So if you about the movement and organizing Cincinnati and different things, then you would buy from nobody else, you would buy from this. Jews buy kosher because they're trying to keep it in their family, they're trying to keep it in their ethnic group. We need to do that. They do it. You know what I'm saying? And there's a lot more examples within the Jews. The Koreans, and I probably try to end off with this one. This is a perfect example because I know you see them. All right, not as much as you see them Arabs, but they doing the same thing. Okay, when Koreans first got here, they did not like buying their produce and the other goods from non-Asian wholesalers. Okay, so what they did was all their little corner stores, they got together and they said, okay, we're going to buy this wholesaler's products before anybody else can get it. We're going to do that about 5 times, and then we're going to make enough money to where we can make a relationship with the actual manufacturer of these goods that we doing. And so where now they done cut out the middleman, and now they got so much product and can get it before anybody, including the wholesaler, that they can dictate the price on the street before anybody ever touch it. So these is like people call cooperatives and these different types of things. This ain't nothing new, and this is something that actually came originally from us and our original sciences. But we need to be more honest with each other, deal with more value systems on, like, I don't really like this guy, but look, are you trying to get paid? It's the whole thing about seeing the bigger picture. You see the value in that $100. It didn't matter if I sneezed on it before. You got to, like, look, man, you're going to have to start being a little bit more, safe with your germs. But look, let's make this money. We really been harmed in regards to our value system. And so that's something that I'm trying to deal with. And again, this is something that I personally did in my family, and that we're currently developing now. Even if, because you can't start out in the community, you know, you can't. Okay, maybe you're not comfortable with doing that yet. You just start in between the people that you know. Can't nobody stop you unless you try to go to a store. You know, then they might lock you up. Alright, make your own dollar. We made up our own dollar. We even said that, like, look, I ain't about to print 1 billion of these, okay, because they worth 50 cents to $1. But if we using them within the house, you know, there's different things that we do for each other in the house. And we can practice investing in each other. You know what I'm saying? And working out and coming up with different systems, because I don't got all the ideas, but you can come up with these things when you're actually active in it. And so there's many things like this within this presentation that I would like to leave with you. But again, as the brother did, there are many sources that are also within this presentation that you just not couldn't get through a 30-minute presentation. And it, like the brother said, it's going to take some reading. You know what I'm saying? I don't think it's necessarily hiding in the book. Like when you actually start to see some of the things that's in the book, like this one right here, Dr. Sheikh Anta Diop, this Black Africa, the economic and cultural basis for a federated state. He, like, if people actually read this book in Africa, there wouldn't be no videos of feed the hungry and all this other stuff. Man, there's so many different ways that he took an alternative energy and he has created really a blueprint on how it can be liberated. And when you read it, you like, but I can do this here. It's hot in here, the sun out, even though it's cold. That's solar right there. You know what I'm saying? I mean, and it's not just that. There's many other options that we have to where you ain't got to be spending all your hard-earned money giving it to your previous master. So all I'm saying is that y'all, I'm gonna leave you with that. I appreciate for your time. I'm not just up here running my mouth. I'm a family man, but I'm also active in this community. I've been part of economic rights in this community in regards to organization. I've bumped my head with people that wasn't righteous. I've worked with some serious and hard-nosed people that I'm still working with in my organization today. So if you are interested in being beyond the talk, please hook up with sisters like Sweet Sister Splash. Please connect with ACT. And I appreciate your time.
You, Brother Cadence.